Hello, good afternoon, everyone. This is the Optimistic BA and another episode of Optimistic Bites. And this time I have my good buddy, Danelkis Serra. So you know that today is not going to be a normal show. Hello, Danelkis.
Well, hello there, my friend.
How are you today?
I'm pretty good, and I love how you started off saying that this will not be normal.
No, not with the two of us. In fact, several people made that comment on LinkedIn, something about, oh, with the two of them, it has to be interesting, And they weren't even people who really know us that well. That's what was scary.
Yeah, that is scary.
So, for the audience's benefit, what we will do today is Danelkis and I are going to ask each other questions, and we really don't know what we're going to be asked by the other one. And we'll do that for the first half hour, and then it's your chance for 15 minutes to ask us whatever you want. And no subject is off limits except anything that would get me suspended from LinkedIn Live and end up in LinkedIn jail. So, I'll just start out. Which do you prefer? Waterfall, Agile, Scrum, Safe, Kanban, or something else?
Interesting, because they don't all necessarily stand alone.
No, they do not.
I have spent most of my career, um, doing agile, mostly Scrum.
Mhm.
I think it's more effective. I've done a couple of waterfall, huge 70-page BRDs, business requirement documents, and don't care for them necessarily. I don't think your stakeholders necessarily read them. Um, and I think they take up too much time. By the time you're finished writing it up and getting everyone's opinions, it's already outdated and you're rewriting it.
Yep.
Um, I've always been a huge fan of being an agilist. So definitely I'll take that route. And I am like everybody else that pulls a little bit of Scrum and Safe and Kanban and puts them all together somehow because they each have their own flavors that are good, and you could just combine them and make it work for whatever initiative you're on.
Yep. I totally agree. I've lived through all of them, but Agile is probably my favorite. I liked Safe, but you know, we went about it a little better fashion than we did Scrum. So.
I was exposed to Safe just a little bit, so I haven't been fully
Mhm.
trained on Safe, so I don't know
Yeah.
all the ins and outs of it, so I can't speak too much of
Yeah.
it. I love Steven's comment in the chat about all
Yeah,
these.
I saw that.
Yeah, I
Small stuff.
I'm trying to think back of like which were the larger ones. I would say 70 was an average.
Yeah.
Uh, the one thing I want to add to that though that I was infamous for was adding what do you call them, like surprises within the BRDs
Little breadcrumbs. Yeah.
on purpose. I was on an initiative once where we did have a budget, and I added within my BRD that if they read this particular page to meet us at whatever restaurant was the happy hour place that was by the office. Kind of one of those like, hey, we'll be at this place at 6 p.m. and we're picking up the tab. Don't tell anyone. Like we wanted to see who actually read the document and showed up. And of course, and it was one of those things of like, like the less people show up, the more we spend our budget. So they, didn't necessarily tell the rest of the team what was going on. And of course, we only had a handful of people show up for a little
Mhm.
surprise happy hour. And then once you get known for doing stuff like that, people start reading your documentation, whether there's cool Easter eggs in there or not. But it
Yep.
really does work. I was definitely known for doing stuff like that.
Mhm. Yeah.
But yeah, I
Funny.
do not like department documentation.
Funny. I used to do the same thing, but I didn't do nice things like that. It was more just like blah blah blah. Nonsense. Nobody ever noticed that either. So, you want to fire one at me?
I could definitely do that. And I was going to say, so for those of you that do know me, I never stick to a script. And since Judy and I agreed on not sharing questions with each other beforehand, I have a multitude of post-its all over my desk of stuff that I might want to ask Judy. So for our techie behind the scenes that's putting the questions up, he didn't pre-get mine, so he's going to have to type the questions up fast. So my apologies for that. I'm going to stick to kind of the same trail that you have going on, Judy. So I know that you mentioned that you did Agile that you prefer Agile and you did it most of the time. I know that where you used to work, you did SAFe often. You've also shared stories with me about some of the cool things that you did within the office. And the color purple comes to mind. And some of the stuff that I might have been told not to publicly share. So I'm just going to ask about the color purple and see if you want to share any of those stories.
Sure.
With our friends and strangers online.
The color purple, yes. I worked in a division that was very aged, to kind of clarify it, that I was one of the younger ones. Okay. So we went through this aha moment that, gosh, these people are going to go away and all of our knowledge is going to go away. So the company employed this company that specialized in knowledge transfer between baby boomers and, well, probably more specifically millennials, but whatever, generation. And so I was an expert on so many systems that I got to go through the transfer process. And it was pretty grueling because they gave you like so many nouns you could use, so many verbs you could use when you were training people. And it was just, that part was kind of brutal. But the fun part was they gave everybody a color based on whether they were a novice, an expert, or somebody in between. And the colors spanned from white, yellow, green, and purple. And if you were purple, then you were considered an expert. And we had kind of a fun director at the time, and we made this film about the purple people. And so several of us were dancing around, and one of my friends who had the same kind of humor I did had gotten me this huge bubble blower that was purple. And so I had that, and I was waving it around and things. And it's a pretty funny video. So maybe I'll have to post it sometime on LinkedIn. But yeah, it was a lot of fun, but we really did get a lot accomplished with knowledge transfer. But it always amused me. We hired this consultant firm, and the person that started the firm was a retired Microsoft employee, and everybody who worked for him came from Microsoft. So here they were, they were probably worth a lot of money and knowledge transfer, but it really does work. I mean, that, but just kind of the grueling aspects of it.
And Judy, I brought it up on purpose because I wanted to make a point that I know you and I both believe in. Because I knew the way you were going to share the story. We tend to be in serious projects. We tend to be content heavy in our day to day and the changes that we're doing. So one of the things I wanted to share with our friends and strangers online was just that, the fact that it doesn't matter what organization we work for and how busy we get and how hectic and stressful and how much exposure you have to all these executives. It's really important to keep things light and fun and create that engagement with your team. I got to see that video and it was hysterical. So it's just bringing in the human side of our personalities, making work fun, because we spend most of our days in the office. And it's really important that we have good relationships, and those relationships are what's going to lead to having open dialogue with your stakeholders.
Yes.
and being able to really get down into the details of what's needed and why they want stuff. Because if they feel comfortable with you and being silly is
Right.
sometimes, how you get there. Um,
Yep.
and this video that Judy's alluding to possibly sharing is something that she showed me very early when we first met. Um, and kind of gave me I mean, not that I needed the extra, but it kind of gave me oh, cool, I could be myself with Judy.
Yeah. When have you ever not been yourself?
Well, exactly. But it's knowing, because Judy can be really serious in some meetings, and it's knowing that that she does have this other side to her, and it's lighthearted and fun and welcoming. So just again, tidbit for everybody just to take back to their initiatives as well.
Yep. That's very important. That was a very good point. So, what has been that one best moment while working at IIBA? A proud moment, a big success, or an aha moment? Now, yeah, I'll exclude when we met, so I'm sure that's been your
Damn.
best.
Of
So
course it was, Judy.
what do you have? I could have some guesses, but you tell me.
One top moment.
Yeah.
Wow.
4 years, one moment.
That's I don't know if I have the one specific moment. Um, Actually, you know what I do? This is the first thing that just popped into my mind as the one moment, and it's going to be an odd one. What? Maybe not. So, for those of you that don't know, I I absolutely am very uncomfortable with speaking in public. Um, I get the jitters, my anxiety goes through the roof, I get sweaty palms. It's extremely intimidating for me to be on a stage and do a presentation. Even though I've been told that I come across natural and that I'm having a good time, it's not what's like going on the inside at all. Um, I had the privilege and honor of going to speak at a conference in Germany. And my sister, which is a developer, and at the time, or actually, she might still be leading VAs, but on the management team. She's on an executive team and has VAs that report to her. And she's a developer. My sister tagged along on that Germany trip because we turned it into a vacation. After the fact, we took some time off, but because she's in the industry and she was there, and there was a fire at the hotel going on anyway. She attended. I know, whole separate story, but whatever. My sister did attend my session at the conference, and actually recorded it for me. But the fact that she was in the room watching, and then told me that I did a kick-ass job. Sorry, I don't know if I should say that, but whatever. But told me that I did a good job. It was special. It was that, hey, I made it in life moment. So it's IIBA related because it was an IIBA chapter conference. But to be honest, it was having my sister's kudos.
Wow.
Be my top moment.
Well, I wouldn't have picked that, but I do remember you talking about that trip. So very cool.
Well, it just came to me. I don't think I would have normally picked that either. That was the first thing that popped in my mind.
Right.
But
yeah,
and it got more sister related.
Yeah.
But
Sure.
but that's what
Okay.
popped up. Oh,
Good
I
answer.
have the same question for you.
Oh boy. What are you going to ask me the same? What is my
Yeah, I am, because that was a really good question.
That was a real oh sure, copycat.
It works. You're such an inspiration. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll bet. I think probably the one moment, it's not so much a moment like your trip was a moment, but it's more the culmination. And probably this year's been a bit nostalgic just because I am leaving the GCC at the end of the year. And when I look back to the day we formed the GCC and I was appointed the chair, and immediately, of course, everybody was saying the Global Chapter Council. Well, that's a mouthful. And when I try to say my title, that's a bigger mouthful. So it's like I came up with the GCC immediately. So a true BA acronym. But what I really am thankful for is the opportunity to be involved at a strategic level of leadership, um, and in the moments and the opportunities to really make an effect on IIBA, because we've built a lot of programs. We've tried some things that maybe didn't quite work the way we thought they would on paper. But to build the team, and it's really cool when you see a regional director bring a a region together or a chapter that's been struggling. And probably the cherry on my Sunday is the virtual presentation, because that is just a ton of fun to do.
Judy, if you don't mind, I don't know. We never script well, but if we could go back, I'm really curious now. What was the moment you thought I was gonna say was my moment?
Oh, your moment? Oh, wow. Wow. Now you're putting me on the spot.
I'm telling you, this was a really good question.
Boy, I don't know. Um, geez, you've got me speechless.
Well, you're like, well, that's not the one I thought you were gonna say. So there was something you had in mind.
Well, no, I mean, there's been a lot of initiatives and a lot of changes. I mean, harmonization was probably the biggest one that, happened in recent memory. Um, Thank you, Maria. I appreciate your compliment. Um, Boy, it's happening live on LinkedIn. I am speechless.
What?
Yeah.
One for Danelkis.
I guess what I was kind of thinking though was, when we were at IBAD together and the closing keynote, Jim, what was his last name? Rohn?
Moni.
Okay. Anyway, I'm bad at names. Anyway, the talk that he gave kind of struck Danelkis's heart. And if you've ever known her, she can cry in a heartbeat and not stop. And I learned after that day that, since that day, in my travel backpack is Kleenex for her, just in case she's around, because I'm not going to cry. So, that's that's probably the one real moment that I can think of.
I do cry often.
I can make her cry when we're just talking about stuff. So I'll try not to today.
Judy could hit all my emotions in one conversation.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. So I forget, where were we? You rewound me. You got me off script.
I asked you a couple questions based off of yours, so sorry. You could go back onto your script.
Okay. So, what are the top 5 items on your bucket list?
Oh, in general?
In general.
Not necessarily work related?
No, just in general. We can mix personal and business here,
All right. Ooh. Well, number one item is to get past this stage that I'm currently in. It's been a dramatic year, so just getting past this stage that I'm currently in would definitely be number one.
Mm-hmm.
Bucket list. Wow. I'm speechless because I have a lot of. I used to keep, so I do have a life to do list, and I'm kind of like, wait, how fast can I open it? I do have a life to do list, which is an AKA bucket list that I haven't really updated recently. Um, I'm big on traveling, so
Yeah.
there's a lot of places on there that I still want to visit. Um, you know, I'm a little stumped, and part of it is so again, I've had this list probably since I was in my teens, probably. Um, and what I've realized through life is to appreciate each moment. So yes, I have a bucket list. Yes, there's things that I want to do on there, but I've also learned to appreciate every moment.
Yep.
Um, and she got me choked up.
Uh-oh. I wasn't even trying. Sometimes I see how fast I can do it, but no, I wasn't trying.
um, all right, so to the fun stuff that could be on the list. I could tell you the big ticket items I got off the list that I've checked
Yeah.
off.
Yeah.
One of them was skydiving. I've done that a few times. Actually, I do want to end up skydiving solo because I've done it 3 times tandem. I do want to do it on my own. So I guess that would be one of those items.
Steve is asking if you're grooming your bucket list backlog.
Oh my God, yes, I have totally done that.
You would not believe the things she has spreadsheets for. I really can't share some of them, but oh my God.
I have spreadsheets for everything, and yes, that's what I was going. How fast can I open it? But that's something I could share after if you guys are interested because it is categorized and it is groomed.
I have no doubt.
I'm just trying to visualize it right now. I haven't looked at it in a while.
Well, where do you want to travel to? Because I know you've been a lot of places. So
I keep adding stuff to that list. One of the trips that I've always wanted to do, again, even as a kid, and I still haven't done for some strange reason, is Italy. Every time I plan it, something happens, and I haven't made it there. I am not officially doing Italy, but I am flying into Venice, which counts.
there you go.
In September when I do a lot of our travel conferences.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll at least see Venice for a day. Mm-hmm. But again, that's not what I consider like doing Italy. I kind of want to do all of
right.
it.
Right.
Australia, New Zealand are big on my list as well.
Yeah. That's cool.
I've always wanted to go to Indonesia.
Oh.
Even though it's the one place in the world that every natural catastrophe occurs in. And with my luck, it might happen when I'm there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But that's also on my list. Okay. I like Patagonia. There's like I like doing outdoor stuff, like nature and hikes and camping and stuff like that. So that would definitely be high on the list.
Well, cool. Okay, your turn.
Can I return the same question? Because I'm liking these.
No, I mean, I have a few places I want to go. I would like to go to Ireland and Scotland.
Oh, agreed. We could go together.
My dad was 100% Irish and my mom was about 50% Irish. So that's a huge thing. And some of the cousins actually got married over there. So, that's pretty cool. And of course, Scotland, I used to play a lot of golf. So, that's real cool. I would like to go to Italy. Cool. And I want to go to the Vatican. I know you're like, oh God, the world's going to crack and swallow away. No, not really. I would also like to go to the UK. I've made several friends in the UK, not only BA, but I have this gang of people on LinkedIn and they have nothing to do with business analysis, but I think they follow and share my posts even more than my close BA buddies. So it's kind of amusing. And then I would like to go to Brussels, of course. Um, and the only thing that I am concerned about with going to places like that is that I have terrible motion sickness. And so I don't want a bullet train or anything that goes too fast. And I've been known to get like bad colors on the Washington, D.C. subway. So,
Oh,
I prefer to be somewhere where I can drive, once I get there. I don't mind flying, but, trains are just not my thing.
well, trains are big in Europe,
Yeah, I know. I know.
but you can drive, and it's very scenic.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see. So those are places I want to go.
All right. Well,
I
let me
also
know
have,
when you're going. I'll tag along.
oh, that would be an interesting trip for sure. There would be no doubt there. Yeah, Minneapolis and Iowa were enough.
I want to do the UK as well.
Yeah,
That's
I
another
really
trip
do.
that
I,
I've planned
you
a
know,
couple times, and something always happens.
yep,
And
exactly. I understand. Yeah, I've only been my extent of being out of the country was 2 times to Canada. Once was when I was at a bowling tournament in Detroit, and we went up to Toronto for a couple days. And then the other time was when we took the leadership series to Calgary for a chapter leader day. And I flew in on a Tuesday, and I flew out Thursday morning. So it was a very quick trip. But watching Jamie Champagne in the winter in Calgary was funny. As most of us left our coats at the hotel because it was too hot, because it was like 30 something, and snowing. I mean, nothing, not even real winter. But watching her was funny. So,
I've
yeah,
heard those stories a couple of times, and I could relate. I'm not a fan of cold weather
yeah,
at all.
exactly. Exactly. So, yeah, there's a lot of places I could go. I mean, I'd like to go to South Africa, something like that. I don't know. Paula Bell was kind of talking about planning something, and I was like,
You
oh, this
should
ought to be good.
join us in September, in
Yeah,
October, the
I
5th
know
of
you are.
October.
Oh, you are. Yeah.
I'm definitely looking forward to it. So for those of you listening in, our IIBA South Africa chapter is doing BA Summit the first week of October. And I have the honor of attending in person and being one of their speakers. So I'm looking forward to visiting South Africa,
Yeah.
which
They always
which is also on the list.
they definitely put on a great conference, that's for sure.
So
I
Judy,
could
go ahead.
I could just talk about you know, everywhere, to be honest. So, I guess I won't. Oh yeah, sorry, Fabricio. Yeah, Brazil would be cool.
I'm planning on going in November for their conference.
Ah,
Fingers crossed. That's my goal.
okay. Well, on that note,
That's when the grooming kicks in and it goes to the top of the list.
I will I will ask another question.
Don't change the question just yet, because I thought of something else related that I think you and I have in common, and I'm pretty sure we've both mentioned it at one point throughout. One of the things that's on my bucket list, and I don't know if it makes it to your bucket list or not, but I know it's something that you've also mentioned. I want to write a children's book where, and maybe I should have, like, what do you call it? Well, I won't share all the details, but I want to write a BA related of like being an analyst and like training your kids young without them knowing that that's what you're doing. So that's one of my bucket list items is teaching kids in a fun way how to, again, get into a BA mindset early in life.
Mm.
And that might be something I do this year.
Ah, very cool.
That one's made it to the top of my list.
Very cool. So now what were you going to ask me?
If there was a book in your future.
Funny you should ask that, because yes, there is. And if I hadn't had a certain incident in Kansas City, I might have already been writing that said book. Um, I actually had a meeting that week to sign on the dotted line. And so, yes, there is going to be one, but I probably won't start or announce it until like maybe November or December. And then once I leave the GCC, I'll have a little more time in my life, maybe. Um, and so I'll get going on that. But it's going to be a motivational book, and it will be patterned around the presentation that I'm sure some of you have heard me give, where bad things happen, the ending can be great. And so, yes.
That's going to be an awesome. I, knowing you and your thoughts and the direction that I know you're probably going to take it in. It's something to definitely look forward to.
I will supply you with a box of Kleenex when I give you a copy of the book.
All right.
Okay, so
script and tissues, got it.
There you go. So, what do you want your legacy to be?
Wow. This was a question you anticipated me getting teary-eyed with, huh?
Yeah, sort of.
I don't know about legacy. I've never thought about like creating a legacy, I guess you could say. But I've always been, I want to leave an impact. Shoot. All right, so I was not counting on being this sensitive today. So for me, I want to say like even my whole career, when, it's not, to me, it's not just a job. It's not just, we're doing a change in the system or we're, creating some new report or, just, it's never been a job. And I think the reason why I've been as successful as I have been has been because I take it to the next level. From the perspective of, it's always been to me, how can I make your life better? How can I make your day to day better? And again, it's not just for the 9 to 5 or the 9 to 8 p.m. like we do often. And I remember I remember fighting hard to get this one report created for one of my stakeholders. And I remember my DBA giving me a hard time because he didn't want to create the report because he thought it was useless. And for me, it was, if I could save this one guy 3 hours from doing all this data crunching and actually give him a report that he was going to use, like, I think it was, like every other week or something. But it would get this guy to leave the office at, 3 hours earlier to get home to be with his family and his kids. And that's going to have an impact on that kid.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that his dad came home at a decent time, was actually home. So it wasn't about creating the report. It was about getting this guy out of the office early enough to make an impact in the child's life.
Right.
And that's how I've always approached my whatever initiative I'm on. It's bigger than just that one little thing. It's literally like, how can I keep somebody, and maybe it's not leaving the office early, but maybe it's just keeping somebody from being frustrated, having somebody be in a much better place at work so that they go home in a better mood. And it's that trickle effect in the world. Like just, maybe it's saving somebody from road rage because they're in that, whatever.
Very cool.
And I don't know if that's a legacy type of, but it's to make that positive impact in the little things. Because at the end of the day, the little things are the big things. They make a difference.
Steve Jones gave us both a compliment. He says we both have already left an impact. So that's very sweet, Steve.
Thanks. Appreciate that.
So, do you have another question for me?
Yeah. What's your legacy? I like this non-scripted stuff. This works out really for me.
Just copying me.
Well, you guys, for the record, hold on. For the record, I have posted of stuff I want to ask.
Probably blank post.
No,
I know.
I'm being. But my handwriting's really bad.
I'm being funny. Yeah, mine's just as bad. I love to make people laugh, and
cry.
If I can make at least one or more people laugh every day, that's that makes my day complete and makes me feel very good. I also want to be remembered as a leader who really cared about their people. And I hope that I have left that legacy. And from what some people have said where I used to work, I think I did leave that legacy for them. But we shall see, so.
You absolutely have, Judy. And I'm actually going to jump in and do the next question since I keep piggybacking off of yours.
Okay.
Because one of the things that I do have written down on here.
Uh-oh.
No, and I'm going to tie it in because you definitely have made an impact. And one of the things that I was going to add in, and I kind of almost threw it in earlier, but your question was better, was when you mentioned that you are going to step down from the GCC officially at the end of the year because you're, term end. But you've retired from the day-to-day job. You're retiring-ish from the GCC. And you have made an impact. You are absolutely leaving a legacy behind. So now what? What's next?
Well, there's the book. Mm-hmm. I do want to try to speak a little more. Between COVID and me getting grounded by my doctors, I haven't went too many places in the last few years. I'm like a travel agent because I make reservations and then I have to cancel them. But I've got a couple things in mind that I want to do with my business, and I can't just really throw them out here. But I want to definitely do some in-person keynotes. So I haven't done that yet, and I had one on the schedule, but unfortunately it got off the schedule with the summer plans that I ended up having. And so we'll see, I'm sure I'll have another chance. And so I really want to do that, but I've thought of some ways I want to make an impact online. And I do have to figure out exactly what I'm going to sell through my business. So we are Team Bianca and I have been working on that. So let's give the audience a chance because we've dominated the time. What questions do you have for us? Trent, St. Louis Trent said that his eldest had enough PDUs to sit the ECBA before getting out of high school. So
that's awesome.
That is. I didn't realize that. Surely some of you, just by knowing who's on the line, has questions. Oh my goodness.
I can't believe this audience is being so quiet, knowing some of you.
Oh.
While they start, maybe there's a delay in the questions coming in. So while they type up a question, I have a fun one just because it's going on here in the States. But our mega lottery thing is at $1 billion.
Yeah, I know.
Judy, if you were to win it, what would you do with the money?
Boy, I would first employ a team, a financial expert, an attorney, and a CPA, and maybe even
know what they're doing.
Maybe even a media person, because Nebraska is not one of those states where it's private. You have to come forward with things, and then I would probably help a few close friends who have had oh, look at you. It's all about you.
Me.
Who have had a bad time. And then I probably would travel quite a bit. One of the places I've always wanted to go, and I know everybody's going to laugh at this, is I've always wanted to go to Idaho. I have no idea why. I don't know a single person there. But I don't know. It's such an oddly shaped state, and I do like potatoes real well. So, you know, I don't know. I would like to go to all 50 states. I mean, I've been and I've been west quite a bit, but I haven't been east a lot. So, I do want to go that direction. Oh no, what is she doing here?
That's one of the things that I have also. I do want to travel the 50 as well, and I don't know if you can see that.
Ah.
I have a magnetic map. I don't know if it's my of the plate, which
Wow.
I have to update apparently because I just realized that there's some missing that I know I've been to.
Ah.
Because I do want to visit all 50 also.
I've been to about 27 of them. So we'll see. Steve is asking, what's the silly thing you do with an obnoxious amount of money, not the obvious things? Ooh, wow. I would see how many exquisite sporting events I could go to, like the World Series Game 7, or the NBA Finals. Just hit all the sporting events, like the Super Bowl. Those sort of things. The college championship game for football. That sort of thing. That's probably what I would do.
I don't know. I mean, we're silly to begin with. So not the typical stuff. We do all the typical stuff, then what?
Steve says that you want a real size version of the boat in the background. What he doesn't know is that you have a boat.
Yeah, but nowhere near looking like that. I have
No.
If I get one of those, it has to come with a whole crew that knows what to do with one of those. Because I wouldn't know where to start.
I can see the two of us trying to operate that.
Yeah, no. But yeah, that would be really cool. Silly. I don't know what silly, obnoxious. Well, obnoxious is a daily thing for us.
Maybe I would send you the largest box I could find of glitter.
No. You guys,
I know you would love that, boy.
No. I know. Absolutely not acceptable. Nope. You guys, I hate glitter. So it better come with a cleaning person that's going to get rid of all the glitter.
Steve asked about cricket, rugby, hurling, curling. No, I wouldn't even know what was going on in the field. It's bad enough when I have to watch soccer, or as Jared puts it, football. But 2026, the World Cup is coming to Kansas City, so I have challenged Jared that if he comes, I'll go to a game with him.
That would be cool.
Of course, I'd have to stay about 1,000 miles away. There's just way too many people around for that. Come on, somebody's got to have. Oh, a coffin-sized glitter ball. Oh, there you go.
This isn't cool that we're having this conversation because now too many people know this.
Yeah, I know.
So not cool. Just for the record, so you guys know, Judy occasionally will send me a package or a letter. I open them in my front porch. I never open them inside the house.
And as I recall, one time you opened it outside thinking that it was something obnoxious or glitter or whatever, and it was something nice, and then you did cry quite a bit.
So, I did. It was it was that. It was.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do all this while I'm in tiny shorts. So Judy got me a picture. I had this picture. I know there's a glare, so I had a picture of my grandma and I.
Now you're okay. Hold it there.
I see. I just see the glare.
Yeah.
I have a picture of my grandma and I posted on Facebook, and she printed it and framed it for me. Because grandma was everything to me. So she definitely made me cry. It wasn't glitter, but it glitters in a different way.
Well, I hate to. Oh, okay. Here we have Christina. You are the optimistic BA. Danelkis, what would be your BA pseudonym, or however that's pronounced?
Great question. It's actually come up before, and there was a few of us that had this conversation a couple years ago, and it would be the authentic BA.
Absolutely.
And part of it is like I say it as it is. I have a hard time poker facing. Most of you know me. You know exactly how I feel when I feel it. And it's all both I'm authentic as well as I try to find authenticity in everything that we do.
Yeah.
I try to bring that out in everyone, and like just doing the perspectives and really getting to know everyone, and again, what's important.
Yeah, I agree with that title too. That's what you would be, for sure. The first time we ever met in person, we dropped a mutual friend off at a hotel, and I had to take Danelkis back to her hotel. They had come to Omaha for our conference, and I hear this sound from the back seat, and she's like, "Well, you know what you need to do." And so she's telling me something I need to do. So she's the type of person that tells you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. So some of our discussions are just rather spirited. Yes, Steve, I will be at the BA Cafe tomorrow. Trent says that the major takeaway from today is that you need to receive multiple messages.
No.
Maybe I could sell your address.
No, not happening.
But anyway, I think I'm going to do a short wrap up. I want to thank all of you for joining to hear this silliness, and maybe there was a little bit about business analysis that is useful. Hopefully there was something. This is actually
to find another takeaway. Sorry.
This is actually my last appearance for a while. I have a date with a surgeon on Tuesday morning, and hopefully this horrid affair that's existed all summer will be over. And I'm encouraged. I've been working on a lot of content behind the scenes, so Team Bianca will be able to make sure that part of life runs for me while I'm gone. The next Optimistic Bites is going to be on August 18th, and I think Paula Bell's going to be the guest host, and I'm going to sit out in the audience and look at things from that perspective. So I plan to take a couple weeks off after my procedure. I hope to be back soon. I probably will be back sooner rather than later, but I haven't really taken any time off from my business since I started it a couple of years ago. So I do have to do that. And there's talk, Danelkis, I know you've been out for a few days. There's talk about how they're going to form a pool as to how long it will take me to send the first email.
Yeah, unfortunately, getting Judy out of emails is like impossible. Judy, I want to jump in real quick here. And on behalf of everyone online, I'm sure I could speak for, and those that were not able to make it today, your huge circle of influence that you have, and even those that you don't know that you've touched because they watch from the shadows, and we might not necessarily know who they are, but you are definitely in our thoughts, in our prayers. You have always been someone that finds the positives in everything. Have shown me how to find positives in the middle of many of my venting episodes. I speak on behalf of all of us when we say that we know that you will be well. We know that you will recover quickly. and that this will be in the past sooner than you know it. Unfortunately, you'll be back on email sooner than I would appreciate. But I'm looking forward to this being in the past because, again, we all know that you'll do well and that you'll pull through.
Thank you.
Quickly.
I received an e-group card. I didn't even know that was such a thing. And what was so humbling and made me so grateful was there were people from every continent except Antarctica. So I think that Jared and Danelkis need to get cracking and,
we need to find people in Antarctica. Judy, I say that should be one of our bucket list trips, and we go.
There we go, Antarctica. There we go.
We'll go scout, except I don't like cold weather, but we'll figure that out.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Well, take care, everybody, and until I see you, keep your glass at least half full.
Cheers.
Goodbye. Have a good weekend.
All right. That went great.
Do you want to end the broadcast, though?